morning, all. I'm Epstein with your morning flash update, and it is a wintry day in Chicago. We are at Friday, the 12th of January, 2024 at 8:15 a.m. I was up this morning, as usual, 3:34, no snow. Easily in the city now, a couple inches of snow. In the surrounding suburbs, they're up to 8 inches. We will be freezing. And I'm not just giving weather, it's around the country that you're going to be going through. It will impact the energy markets. We are going into deep freeze, first one of the year, maybe the worst in 5 years, they're saying. We will be lucky in the Chicago proper to be getting to about 8 to 10 degrees without wind chill over the next 7 to 10 days. Night times below zero, sometimes with wind chill below 30 below. So you don't want to come here. That's the point that I'm making. It's going to impact the caucuses. Iowa's going through this right now. It's not going away. It lasts all week. What they're going to do, I don't know, but this has got to be the worst weather they've ever seen. And who does it help? You know, Trump. Because you won't get the traction for those others that are running, and he's the foregone winner at this point. Now, I want to remind you that on Tuesday, we were going to have the live webinar. And if you haven't received an invite, it means you're not on my mailing list, and it's simple to join anyways. You'll notice up here, if you look in the ad, and through the whole video that we're going to do in a minute here, there'll be an icon that if you move your cursor up there, you click it, you can register. You will get an email from us with the user ID, the password, the link to sign into the Zoom webinar. I open it at 12:15 p.m. Central Time Tuesday. I begin talking at 12:30. I end 20 minutes later. I do not record for this to be on the website, so you have to join it. In the link that you get from us in the email, you'll also have an area to ask me questions. That is where the best time to do it is, especially for stocks and ETFs. If you have questions, you can call my staff. They can help you. Don't call when it starts. Nobody's going to be able to help you at that point. It's too late. Okay, so overnight, we saw that there was the attack by the U.S. and the UK on the Houthis. Now, originally, they said 12 areas. Well, as it turns out, there were 73 total strikes. I don't know how many areas. Supposedly, 5 dead, 6 injured in the Houthis. The Houthis have said already that their retaliation will be immense against the coalition. Okay, we expected that. And as I said, the only thing they'll understand is strength. Next time you hit them again, if it's 73 times, go to 150 times hit them. Do it until they stop. You're not out to conquer anybody. You want them to stop. They'll get the message in time. By the way, now that we're waiting on the EU to join in. They have a January 22nd meeting before we know what's going to go on there. Grain markets at 11 o'clock this morning, you get the big supply-demand report. You often in this report get some good moves. So be aware of that. This is where you adjust how everything looked last year. You're getting a $41 increase in gold, and this is off the Mideast situation. I mean, it's serious. That pulled silver 77 cents. So we knew that if an event would happen, you would get a bounce there. You expected to get a rise out of the energy because you put that in harm's way. The stock market is not down. It was down a lot more earlier. You've made up 200 points already in the Dow. You've made up 20 in the S&P off the lows. You're 114 points off the low in the NASDAQ. So what's going on and why is that part taking place? And here's why. The U.S. PPI numbers came out and final demand was down 0.1%. They expected it up 0.1. Game over. This tells you you've got some deflation at the wholesale levels coming in. Producer prices ex food and energy were flat. They expected it up 0.2. These are all winning numbers. These are good numbers. Personal consumption flat, and the final PPI demand was revised in November to a -1 from prior flat, and now you're showing it's better. So these are good numbers. As you can see, we struck Yemen with 73 airstrikes. The Suez Canal reported today that for the first 11 days, that's through yesterday, that their business was off 30% year over year, and their revenue was off 40%. So the seriousness, what the Houthis have caused, it's there. The world knows it. Any trading country knows it. And this will come in and hurt CPI and hurt many things. They knew this. This was their game plan, and now they're going to pay for it. In the bank earnings, JP Morgan, another blowout. Now, all the banks are saying that where they really did very well was interest. As it climbed, they made more money. We know that would be the game, but not all the banks are looking like a JP Morgan, so you want to study that. In China, come Monday, a majority of analysts surveyed by Bloomberg project the People's Bank of China is going to lower the rate on its one-year policy loans for the first time since August. And they might inject more cash into the system because things are just going so dire there. So you look at things and you got that. Remember, it's Martin Luther King Day on Monday. Many of the stock markets will not be closed in the United States. Futures are, so you want to take a look and see what you've got. Most will close at noon. I, on Monday morning, will not be doing these updates. I'll take the day off for myself. Why not enjoy it? I'll be back on Tuesday. Over the weekend, I will, for you, put out the weekly update. I don't know if I'll do it tonight or tomorrow, but I'll get it done. There's nowhere to go. It's going to be zero conditions, up to a foot of snow all around us. So I'll be looking forward to doing work. And this is great because I can really attack the charting course that I so bad need time to finish up. So that's where you're at. Now, one final thing. Coming into this morning, you had about a 68% probability of a March rate hike if you look at the swaps, the CME Fed Watch tool. It jumped to 78% after we saw the PPI numbers because they impact the PCE, the personal consumption expense numbers that we'll get in about 2 weeks. So the market is extrapolating that. It's become more important over time. This is the first good set of numbers that I would see that say, now I see what the market is looking for in data. If this spills, then we get 2 more reports and maybe a March cut is on the cards. Maybe the Fed gets ahead. I haven't joined that camp yet. I've opened my mind that this is the first piece of data that certainly points that there's a weakening in some of that inflation. So I got time. It's only January 12th. We don't get the March meeting for a long time. We got a lot more data to look at. Keep your eye on what things are doing. Bitcoin, by the way, down 675 at the 48,000 level. If you look at your Bollinger Bands, that's where the top came in. It's going to be soon time to leave the January contract, and we'll go to the February contract to look at it. And as you know, there were just billions of monies flowing into it. How much of it was window dressing? How much of it's going to stick? How much of it was moving from the left hand to the right hand so it can be in the ETF versus a different way that Grayscale and others were holding the money? Got to work through all that. I'm Ira Epstein. You have yourself a great trading day. Remember to give a click up here if you want to join me on Tuesday. It'll be a fun meeting. It'll be the first day back after Martin Luther King, and there'll be a lot to talk about. Trade well.